An NBA insider is pushing for the Knicks to make a major trade involving Precious Achiuwa. We're going to break down all of these latest reports today. But before we get started, guys, about 55% of you watching this video right now are not subscribed to the channel. We are on a mission to try to reach 25,000 subscribers, and we could really use your support. If you enjoy daily Knicks content like this, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because it could really support all the great content that we're creating for you. And now, let's get started. An NBA insider is pushing for the Knicks to trade Precious Achiuwa. Now, Precious Achiuwa becomes trade eligible on January 15th. He recently returned from a hamstring injury. He's coming off the bench right now for New York, and I gotta say, he is delivering a very good impact off the bench. He is providing defense. He's giving you good offense. He can move without the ball. Honestly, he's exactly the player the Knicks needed back on the bench. Somebody who was big, who can play right alongside Karl-Anthony Towns, who could give you better defense, and also would not interfere with any of the offense that we had going with Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns. And that's exactly what Achiuwa is giving you. He also has Tom Thibodeau's trust. So much so that Tom Thibodeau expanded his rotation to an 8-man rotation once Precious Achiuwa returned. But honestly, if you're looking at the trade assets that the Knicks have right now, if they do want to make a trade happen, Achiuwa might be their best asset at this point in time. With Achiuwa making $6 million on a one-year deal, waiving his no-trade clause, it does make sense that if the Knicks were going to make a trade, Achiuwa might be included in that deal. And we already know there are reports out there indicating that the Knicks could make that deal happen, could make a major move at the deadline if they're hovering around 500, and it looks like they need to make another impactful move to move forward as a team in the right way. And an NBA insider with The Athletic is actually pushing for the Knicks to trade Achiuwa, and there's one main reason for that. He believes that once Mitchell Robinson returns, the combination of him and Achiuwa sharing the floor at the same time will not look good. And the only way to rectify that is for the Knicks to make a trade and involve Achiuwa in that deal. Let's break down these latest reports from The Athletic. Shout out to Sports Illustrated for giving us the following information. According to them, The Athletic's Law Murray talks about the idea of the Knicks trading Precious Achiuwa before the February 6th trade deadline. According to him, Achiuwa signed a contract that doesn't make him trade eligible until January 15th. But that's also when the Knicks expect Mitchell Robinson to return. Putting Achiuwa and Robinson on the floor together would be malpractice. So Achiuwa should be expendable, with the Knicks needing another playable wing, preferably with more skill than what Achiuwa presents. Now, it honestly makes a lot of sense for the Knicks to wait before they make a trade. And why not wait until you hear more information about Mitchell Robinson, how he's looking, if he's going to return, if he's 100%, all of those questions to get answered. Because once you understand that, it's going to help you understand what's to come for your future and what moves you need to make. If you know Robinson's fully healthy, he's going to come back, and you're not going to expand the rotation. You're going to keep it at 8 players or maybe 9 players, and Achiuwa's not in the future plans, then maybe at that point, you might want to explore a trade. But honestly speaking here, why would the Knicks want to trade Precious Achiuwa right now? It wouldn't make sense, because given what they need, a big off the bench that can play defense, that can move without the ball, Achiuwa gives you all of that. He has chemistry built in with this team. He understands Tom Thibodeau, how Tom Thibodeau wants to play, and his coaching style. So it wouldn't make sense to move Achiuwa right now, unless the wing on the table is a player the Knicks always wanted, a player that the Knicks always coveted. If that player is available, then maybe the Knicks make a trade. But I haven't heard any reports out there that a player the Knicks really want is going to be available via trade right now. There's also a reason they didn't mention any names, because there's not any names to mention regarding a trade for Precious Achiuwa. There's not any wing that I know of, or any reports that have come out regarding a wing that the Knicks covet that will be available that the Knicks actually want to trade Achiuwa for. So I understand what Murray is saying here, but honestly, there is no report to back it up. So I don't think the Knicks are going to make this deal. It actually makes a lot of sense for New York to wait, get fully healthy, and see the team that they have. See Achiuwa and Robinson playing on the floor together. Now, I understand what Murray is saying here. He doesn't want to see that lineup together because he thinks it's malpractice. Having both of those guys on the floor together, clogging up the paint, doesn't sound like it makes a lot of sense. And to some degree, I can understand that. But you know what makes a lot of sense? Having a backup for Mitchell Robinson and Karl Anthony Towns and OG Anunoby. And that's what Achiuwa gives you. Because of the fact he plays the 4 and the 5, he can back up OG Anunoby. He can back up Mikal Bridges. He can back up Karl Anthony Towns. And yes, he can back up Mitchell Robinson. Because even if Robinson comes back and he's fully healthy, we don't know how long that's going to last for. How many games is he going to be able to play consistently before he goes down with another potential injury? That is always going to be the question mark about Robinson. And since that's the case, I'm not going to trade away my insurance in Precious Achiuwa for just any old player. If I'm trading away Achiuwa, it has to be for somebody significant. Somebody that changes the Knicks and helps us get even better moving forward. Makes us a locked-in team potentially to go all the way to the NBA Finals. If that player is not available, then there is no reason for the Knicks to make any trade. And Sports Illustrated actually goes into this further, and they actually agree with this point. According to Sports Illustrated, they state the following. The Knicks like what Achiuwa brings to the table. That's why they re-signed him to a 1-year, $6 million contract during the offseason and are happy to see him back on the floor after dealing with the hamstring injury for the first month or so of the year. The Knicks don't have many trade assets to work with after sending most of them away to acquire Mikal Bridges and Karl Anthony Towns during the offseason. But Achiuwa is someone who could fetch them a decent value on the trade market as an expiring contract. There isn't many rumors surrounding Achiuwa being dealt, but the Knicks could float him around in trade talks if Robinson returns and looks strong. That being said, the Knicks will need some form of insurance once Robinson returns after being out for so long, and that's the role Achiuwa can play for the Knicks, even if the Knicks don't want to trade him at the trade deadline. The way they end that article, that last paragraph, is hilarious. They basically say the Knicks could deal Achiuwa if they find the trade out there that they like. But honestly, it won't make sense for the Knicks to do that because they need some form of insurance for Mitchell Robinson, and Achiuwa fits that role perfectly. So then why would they deal him? Exactly. They wouldn't. I understand his contract. I understand him waiving his no-trade clause. I'm not saying the Knicks will not deal him at all. I'm saying right now, it doesn't make sense for the Knicks to deal him. What makes sense for the Knicks to do is to be patient, wait, get healthy, and then see what we can do when we're fully healthy. What this Knicks team really looks like. Because at that point, you can judge this team. You can judge the type of team that we are, what we have, what we don't have, and what we still need. And if that happens with enough time remaining, with enough time for the Knicks to explore the trade deadline, see what targets are available, so that way they can make a move, more power to them. But they're not going to rush to make that decision. They're going to wait for Robinson to come back fully healthy, and likely they're going to see what Achiuwa and Robinson look like on the floor together. I'm not saying they're going to start. They're going to play a whole quarter together. They're going to even play 10 minutes together. But if other players need to rest, and we need some form of offense in there, and we need OG Anunoby getting some rest, then at some points, you're going to see Achiuwa and you're going to see Robinson in there. And maybe you're not going to like the offense there. Maybe something's not going to look right with those two clogging the paint. But I think the trade-off you get defensively is well worth it. However long Achiuwa and Robinson share the floor together, our interior defense will be locked down. Maybe our perimeter defense and our transition defense will still be a problem. But interior defense, that paint defense, Mitchell Robinson, capable of blocking shots, getting rebounds. Achiuwa, the exact same thing. Having both of them on the floor at the exact same time together, that works for the Knicks during certain situations. That's going to be up to Tom Thibodeau, how he makes those adjustments and how he's going to incorporate Robinson once he returns. I've said it for a while now, but I'll say it again. Tom Thibodeau will be forced to expand the rotation once Landry Shamet and Mitchell Robinson return. He trusts both of those guys. He talks about both of those guys a lot, especially Shamet, who, by the way, is not technically signed by the Knicks. He is part of Westchester, but he's not part of the main team. But Thibodeau speaks about him as if he is part of the main team. That goes to show you, once he is fully healthy, fully available, and he can return without any issues, he will be back on the main team with the Knicks, and he will be playing significant minutes. If that's the case, the Knicks are going to have to expand the rotation, but they're going to have to do something else. Reduce the minutes of the starters. And if that happens, Well, that's exactly what every single person wants. We want the starters to play less minutes, we want the bench to play more minutes, and we want to be able to go into the playoffs as healthy as possible. Getting more players back that Tom Thibodeau trusts, that's the key here. If we make a trade for a player that Tom Thibodeau doesn't like, maybe a player like Cam Reddish, for instance, and that doesn't go well, and then he just rides the bench, why do we make that trade? Why do we give up assets? That's what Leon Rose and this Knicks front office is going to have to think about moving forward here. Do we wait to get healthy or do we wait to make a trade? The only things that's going to influence that is Mitchell Robinson's health, how the Knicks look defensively and offensively out there each and every game, and our win-loss record. Are we hovering around 500 or are we on a win streak and we're not even thinking about 500 anymore? That's going to be the keys there. Depending on how that looks, that's going to influence whether the Knicks make a move or not. But if they do, Precious Achiuwa, without a doubt, is their best trade asset at this point in time. But what about you guys? What do you think about the following reports indicating that Law Murray, an NBA insider with The Athletic, is actually pushing the Knicks to trade Achiuwa? And he wants the Knicks to trade Achiuwa, preferably for a wing that's more skilled than he is. Let me know how you feel about that in the comment section below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans, take care of yourself, your families, and each other. Peace and love.